Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing great. I'm doing okay. I made a food allergy mistake with my supper last night though, but it was good. But I suffered for it. I took sliced portobellos and fried them and then put Swiss cheese on it and made a mushroom Swiss burger, vegan. And I had a couple of them little sandwiches and I suffered all night for it, and I'm still kind of like sore. Um, but they're good. If you haven't done it, and you can put like olive oil on them and take whole portobellos and put them on the grill, and then put a piece of whatever kind of cheese you like, but mushroom and Swiss is really good. And burgers, if you don't want any meat, so um yeah, tonight I'm allergic to cornbread and beans too, and that's what I'm going to make tonight. Take some burger and put it in beans. It's one of Doug's favorites. So I'll just try and take it easy on what I eat, and um I don't think that stuff is as bad on me as what I had last night. Even last night was more healthier in a way. So, and then probably in a few days, I'm going to make some chicken chow mein with a bunch of um, veggies in there and stuff. So, um, shoot, just reminded me. Oh, I could have had Doug pick up some more, like water chestnuts. They're good in there, but it's okay. Just celery is good, and I'll probably put some mushrooms in that too, but not many, so I can kind of avoid them, and Doug can have most of them. So, but yeah, I just have to really, really watch that stuff. I'm actually better off eating something like, oh, like broccoli and meat or something just plain, just like the chicken by itself or, something like that. But that brings me to health and immune systems and $20 a shot for vaccines that they haven't approved for children yet, but are going to be approving that coming up here probably shortly within about a month or so. If that doesn't kind of scare you, I don't know what will. But putting that in your child, when there's doctors that are afraid of being blackballed, they're not speaking up. They're saying things like Fauci hasn't been saying, to eat healthy and exercise and that type of thing to keep your immune system, how to do that better and avoid even having to have the vaccine to begin with, you know. And that brings me to the thought that if Dr. Fauci or Joe Biden can beat me in arm wrestling, you know, or run a race and beat me up my flippin' driveway, I'll let Fauci personally poke that thing in me. But that ain't gonna happen. You know why? Because they are not strong men and they are not good leaders. That's why, you know. And Fauci's about it anemic looking of any doctor I've ever seen. No, he's not overweight. He is a nothing. He's not even a welterweight, you know. He's a shrimp, a weakling, and an idiot, all for money. Because there are doctors that are afraid to speak out. There's doctors right now that if they don't counsel their patients to get the vaccine, they have gotten their practices and licenses are going up before the health board as we speak, because they and some of their medicines that they can recommend for people have been restricted. So, like if a patient comes into them and they suggest, well, eat better and exercise, and I don't want to give you this right now, or if you've had the flu, we don't recommend you getting the vaccine because you have those natural immunities in you, and the vaccines haven't been tested enough to be thoroughly examined. You know, if they say something like that, uh, and which the ones that have, and I've well, not spoken personally, but there's Dr. Scott Jensen wouldn't go along with falsifying the death records when this whole thing began, and they tried to take his medical license away. They had a couple complaints, and they took it before the health board for a review, and they couldn't get him out of there. And if he didn't have a small town practice and he was in a bigger hospital, they probably would have ousted him and blackballed him at that time. So that's what's going on. These doctors are afraid to speak up and say, hey, boost your immune system with eating right and exercising and this type of thing. Like I said, if these people that have to have masks over their face and push that on other people for money that the taxpayers are paying at $20 a whack, figure that out. That's a lot of money these devils are dividing up between themselves. Um, if they can beat me, I would say, hey, let's, whoa, come on, you know. But that would be so unfair because I'd enjoy that way too much, you know. But arm wrestling or running a race, hey, why wouldn't a man that's out there telling everybody in the world what to do with their bodies not take a challenge in a foot race or arm wrestling? That's pretty simple. There's absolutely no danger of somebody getting taken down and stepped on their neck or thrown across the room into a wall or anything like that. No danger at all. But the danger to me, because I've almost died from their shots before, is watching somebody else go through the fevers and the things that I have constantly. Just about a half hour ago, I had an attack, a heated attack is what I call them. No, it's not menopause. I went through menopause at 34, long time ago. These are things that my nerve endings swell, and I have nerve damage from the swine flu shot back in 1976. Literal changes that they made in my body and made me sick way back when I've been fighting against and telling people about. So, yeah, like I say, if they can, I'm going to put it on here. I challenge the head of the medical directors or WHO, whatever this thing is, pretending to, of taking the Hippocratic oath of doing no harm, and they're doing harm because our immune systems are real. They do work. What's worth, you can have the flu for a part of a day, eat some soda crackers and drink some ginger ale, or you don't even, baking soda and some water, take a aspirin, and a vitamin, eat some chicken noodle soup because it's light on your system, and go back to your regular regime, and in a day or so, you're going to be okay. And take it from an older person. This is the way it has always worked in my 6 decades plus. And there's doctors that nothing has changed. There is nothing new under the sun. The only thing that has changed is their greed. So, yeah, I used to get so mad, just thinking about it. How could you take an oath not to hurt anybody and then turn around and not care that people are being hurt, you know? And now they're involving the children. And this is where I'm not mad. Do I want them to die? No. I want them on a chain gang all tied together. And when they get sick and they drop, you take it off and put another treasonous jerk in his spot and keep them working until they drop dead, because that's how much they care about the babies. In fact, they care less about the children than they do about anything. They care more. Well, there's ones that rape babies, so yeah, that's how they care about babies. But this medical board in our White House right now, the ones that are literally in charge of this whole thing right now, can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. Hey, how about this? I won't say I'll take a jab if anybody in Congress can beat me, but if I can arm wrestle 90% of Congress, and that's hundreds of people. What is there, like 300 and some, or yeah, if I can beat 90% of them in arm wrestling, they'll take this jab out of the system here and stop trying to push for mandates. That sounds reasonable, doesn't it? And I'll wrestle them with my broken arm. It's not entirely healed. The women, hey, the men, I'll use my good one, you know, but maybe depending on the man. Oh yeah. Woo. Yeah, healthy, right? Whatever, you know. Excuse the noise. Yeah, excuse the nose. I'm doing laundry, so thought I'd shoot the breeze while that's getting done. And oh, the biggest blessing last night. You wouldn't believe it. Just a minute here, I'll tell you. I'm building that kitty house. So, it was so great last night. A friend of Doug's called and he's like, I have a bunch of insulation bats that was taken from a big company, not taken, but given to him from a big company down in the cities, and he has more if we want it. But he had a whole trailer full of, we can recycle it. There's some good, some bad, but most of it we're going to be able to use. And even stuff that's loose I've taken before, like when I've built other things, and put it inside like a garbage bag, and then just like stuck it in the wall or whatever, my personal places and things, as to not waste the insulation. Even though it was loose, you can still capture it and put it in for protection from the cold or the heat. So I'm going to be able to put that on the floor of my kitty house and probably on the walls. And then I can cover it with wood, or I have some carpet that I'm going to put down. And so when I put that down in a day or so here, and I'll be able to put some more plywood up, put some windows in there for them, and a door and a kitty door, and I'm going to build them some nests and ramps and play area and everything. And it is rather large, and I'm going to take, we have a four-wheeler, take that out of there and pull behind, oh, it's a disc for seeding stuff in a field, and put some of that stuff in my horse barn. I thought about converting the horse barn into a kitty house, but that's on the northern side of the property. And this carport next to the box truck is out of the wind more in the winter and has more sunshine for the kitties. So when I have all their windows set in and their floors and walls are everything's insulated, it's going to be always probably above freezing in their house. And then I have a water heated water bucket. I have some heating elements that go in, like horse tanks and whatever, but I have one in particular that's just a heated bucket, and I'm going to put that in there, and that's always above 32 degrees, so that's going to be a constant source of heat radiating in their house along with their little bodies and the sunshine, and so they'll never suffer at night, never. So that's my goal. And Doug's going to help me now, but it was such a blessing. It was I was watching Robin's Hood, and he was talking about God credit karma, like you get credit from people on your karma. And it's like around here where we live, a lot of people, we do trade and barter in this type of thing. We've like helped Dave out when he had troubles and whatever, um, and vice versa. So it was just really cool last night when he called. He's like, "Do you want this insulation?" And Doug's like, "Wow, cute, perfect timing. This is God's perfect timing, helping me take care of those kitties through another Christian man to Doug, his friend. How cool is that?" And the neatest thing about it is, Doug did change his clothes and go out there because he had been to town and had some good clothes on. But this friend of his, he's a little younger, but him and a friend just came and they unloaded the whole thing and left a great big black tarp over everything, underneath and on top, so nothing gets wet. Unloaded it all, and it was almost dark out. It was getting dark. And Doug had our car back there with the lights, and some of my solar lights were shining. But it's just the grace of God working through people. And that's how things are orchestrated in this world, in the normal realm of doing things. People have such a fear of letting go of the societal things like government and um um jails or whatever, when people in communities have been taking care of each other like that for eons, before there was a government. People could clearly take care of themselves because we're still here. But you let these monsters in, doing the stuff they want to do to the next generation, like they always have, and human beings aren't going to be human like that any longer. These diseases in our body are not natural. God did not put them here. A lot of people blame God. This is not God's doing. This is the free will of mankind. He's weeding them out. He's seeing who they are and what they're doing, and they're not going to get away with it, you know. So it's pretty horrible. It really is, you know. I can't imagine what people's bodies feel like getting that in them. There's got to be some kind of doomizid, doom. Ugh, there's got to be some kind of icky feeling to go along with it. Um, I know the vaccines that I've taken in my life, even for nursing. I think the last I had worked in a retirement home in the kitchen briefly because these people were out of their minds. But really, the staff. Um, but that's another story. But I think the last time I had a TB shot was probably around 20 years ago, maybe. Um, Somewhere around in there. And I think I was 40 that year. Uh, because at work, one of my coworkers gave me a black sucker because if after 30 you're over the hill, but at 40 you're dead. I said, "Oh, thank you. You're so sweet." I go, "Want one? You're coming up next." She was like 38 years old, making fun of me. I was like, ha ha. Um, yeah. But that's funny. But yeah, I was really concerned taking my probably fourth TB shot, and I was trying to inquire from doctors and different people and even my own physician, is this going to hurt me? Because I've had these, in different places that I've worked. And how many do you need? Are they like tetanus? Do I need it like every 10 years or whatever? And that kind of was the gist of the whole thing from my understanding. But I just had this creepiest feeling of having that disease poked in me once again. It was like, um, mm, I don't know, just weird. So I don't know. Yeah, but it is true. There are doctors that are literally not standing up because there's two reasons. If they're perhaps on the internet, like say Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whoever, whatever, you know, um, and they're talking to people, they're afraid that they're going to lose their platform and their voice. If they lose their license, they have no say at all as far as um, actually it would make it worse in the medical society to try and talk to people without a license. And so now they're stuck where they're afraid of losing their income, losing their voice, losing their platform, and their license. Well, the only thing I can tell them is if the fear of being blackballed and losing your license versus trying to stand up for human beings that are going to die because of this, because there's times that it's unnecessary in a healthy human being to vaccinate them. It's totally unnecessary. And then the ones that have had the flu already, and they're recommending that they still get this shot. That's where a lot of doctors are starting to stand up and scream like, I'm not putting more of this virus, not catching in the air, by the way, into this human being that just got through having this disease, because I'm putting more of it in there. And that's not going to create antibodies to fight it off. That's going to create more of it in their systems. And this is the dilemma that the medical field is looking at right now, all over the world. And they know it. There's not one medical professional, unless they're totally brain dead. You would have to be the dumbest rock on the planet not to know that viruses are not catchy like that. Just like AIDS. It's identical. The characters of the 19 going into what other number they want to create with their little fantasy money making schemes. I do feel sorry for some of the medical professionals that are trying to and wanting to stand up, but they're just not doing it hard enough. Um, would I jeopardize my practice if I had children? I I would. I'll tell you why. Because my children are not the only children on the planet, and I took an oath, and so did they. They took an oath. That's an oath before God and to every human being on the planet. An oath is an oath. It's like a wedding vow. It's worse than a wedding vow because you are vowing before the whole world, not just you and your spouse and God, but the entire world. You're promising the world that you're not going to hurt them. And, uh, yeah, I'd like to arm wrestle Fauci, all right. I wonder if his little arm would break right off. That'd be sad. Then I'd have to set a doctor's broken arm. Wouldn't that be a trip? Whoa, just a minute. Let me get some tape out of the body shop. Woo! Whoa, whoa. I don't have popsicle sticks. We'll have to use, let me see, shish kebab skewers. That'll work. Grab the shish kebab skewers. Okay, hold it here. Stop your screaming, you little twit. We'll be done in a minute here. Then you can go get your shot right in your broken arm, you little creep. You know, something like that. I can dream, can't I? That's not illegal yet, is it? I heard it's going to be. The thought police and all that. Wow, if the thought police can keep up with my brain, kudos to them. I give you free access. Go ahead and try, you know. Because when I'm talking to my father, I think we're a bit ahead of the game. So, yeah. Wow. All the things going on in this world, right? So, well, I'm going to upload this. I'm not going away. I'm not shutting up. And anything that you can do or say to help somebody else realize that the medical field itself is in jeopardy of having its freedom to treat their patients. This is a way important thing. So important it's not even funny at all. And I am so concerned about the little people going to have this crap in their systems. I can't even tell you my concerns on that go so deep. Of course, people have been screaming, and when they mix like the graphite and the nanotechnology and things that can be done, yes, it's true. But when they put all that, or they're talking like George Orwell, or these type of things, takes away from the severity of it. It's so important. So help me spread the word. Hey, these doctors want to stand up and help us, but they're being silenced. So, what can we do to help them? How do we go about this today? What do we do to help the kids? What do we do? Ideas are welcome. Okay, everybody. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. I love you all so much. Um, let's think of something. Maybe God gave you some kind of clue that I can pass on in a video or something. I don't know. But there's got to be some answer to stop this monstrosity that's happening. It's not that they lifted any veil, God does for his people to see, but Satan's always been here. So they're not, he's already been loose. Everything has been played out. They're trying to act like it hasn't. The new book is being written. We have to write the new script going on from here. How are we going to do that? God credit karma? Yes, God credit karma. That's a good one. Peace, everybody. Later.